At Frontier Nursing University, our mission is to educate nurse midwives and nurse practitioners through distance education. With 75 years in Kentucky, our students and graduates have a passion for personalized care for women and families. Do you share this passion? Visit frontier.edu.
Originally from Illinois, Springfield, and that's where I did my nurses training. And then I went up to Minnesota for a year to the university, and my roommates there wanted to go to New York City, so I went out to New York City with them. I'm this country kid that, but anyway, worked out there for a year and a half, and then I had read about the Frontier Nursing Service in history of nursing. And so I thought, well, that would be different, and so that's how I got down to Kentucky.
For over 50 years, Ms. French has been serving the people of this community.
I've been in Leslie County since 1961. The Frontier Nursing Service interested me, and I came to work there, and then did the midwifery class and stayed around and went to the Wolf Creek Center. Stayed there for a year and a half, and I came to Cutchin Clinic in the Mission in February of 1964.
Ms. French says it's the folks that visit her clinic every day that makes her job so special.
Well, I enjoy people, so I like being involved with people, and over the years I've treated a whole bunch. There's at least 3 families that I've treated 6 generations. So and on 2 I think it's a husband, and there's a husband and wife in there that it makes for 2 of them. But there's 2 or 3 that I've found out that I've treated 6 generations. I knew I had treated 5.
Along with her work at the clinic, Ms. French has taught Sunday school to hundreds of Cutchin children over the years.
I started I came here in '64. I started teaching preschoolers, taught them a couple of years. Somebody else wanted to, moved up to 1st and 2nd grade. Somebody else wanted that age, moved up to the 3rd and 4th. So I've been teaching since '64.
When asked about what kept her in Leslie County all these years, she credits the waters of the Middle Fork.
Well, they say once you drink of the waters of the Middle Fork, if you leave, you'll come back or you'll stay. And I got a good drink.
In addition to her work at the Mission, Ms. French was instrumental in starting the Cutchin Volunteer Fire Department.
Lucy Scott and I and Glenn Hendricks and Cecil Lewis Jr. were some of the founding members of the Cutchin Volunteer Fire Department. So that was in 1982, and so I made the mistake of taking notes for the first meeting and got elected secretary, and nobody else has wanted it, so I've been the secretary ever since.
Establishing a fire department for this region was important because it was so far removed from other fire departments.
By the time Hayden would get here, they were the first ones, and by the time they would get here, you would save the chimney. Now, sometimes we only save the chimney.
Fortunately, fires are not very common in this section of the county.
We don't have many fires. We've had some bad accidents that fact is, I have one bad one even before we had the fire department. A VW ran over the hill and hit a tree just about a half mile below us, and only one survived out of the 4 that was there, and that was before we had ambulance service, period.
Having ambulances available to the Cutchin community has saved countless lives.
We could be to Hyden by the time the Hyden ambulance got out to us and back, so we decided we'd start with that.
Miss French says she's seen a lot of change on the Cutchin Creek over her years living there.
Well, of course, we've had more modern conveniences. We have, as we say, city water. The telephone in '64 was, well, I think we were on a party line of 4 to 6 and on the party line, and so sometimes that got a little, we had one old lady that often missed hanging it up, and so you would, and then you'd hear her talking to herself, and then you'd have to go over and say, hang up your phone. She just lived across the way, so.
Unfortunately, all of these changes have not been for the better.
Well, the worst change is the drug problem. That used not to be, well, you'd have some, in the early days you had some stills in the area, and then there was the marijuana, but this other stuff it's bad news.
But she is very hopeful for the future.
Oh, the communities, I think, are pretty close, and they work together. The people are very friendly, and they're wanting, most of them are wanting to improve their county.
There is one thing she would like to see change, however.
Well, the sad thing is that you can't be born in Leslie County anymore. And Mrs. Breckenridge would be very upset about that. But that I can't do anything about.
But no matter what, Miss French will be calling Leslie County her home for years to come.
I'm not planning, when I retire, I'm not planning to leave.
Miss French, you are truly a local treasure.
Folks, Local Treasures was such a wonderful night. Now we're going to have even more videos from that event on the folks that we honored in the upcoming shows that we're going to do. And if you'd like to know more about what's going on with the Foundation for Appalachia, Kentucky, check out their website. They're doing great work all across this region, and that address is there on your screen.